Fife Flyers TV, sponsored by the Bay Hotel, Fife's premier wedding venue.
4-3 win, what were your thoughts on the game?
Well, I was very pleased with our first period. And we were by no means perfect. I think Shane had to bail us out 3 times, if I remember correctly. And one of them got called off, rightfully so. The net was off. I think he had to start up a shorthanded breakaway, and there was a breakdown in our D zone. But those are just small little bits that have been costing us dear, because for the rest of the period we had full control of that game. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. They had a decent pushback in the second period for 3 or 4 shifts. Once again, we controlled big swaths of time down low. There was pucks laying around. We certainly could have buried a few more of our chances. Am I disappointed by the way we started the third period? Absolutely. I mean, I think ultimately we could have handed that game away, where we controlled the big portions of the hockey game. It was, that's on the players, that they fought back and stuck with it and came back and won that hockey game. It was a lot closer than it should have been, but I think that would be unfair to Dundee if I didn't give them credit. They've been involved in near enough every single game they've played this year. They don't go away. They have the ability to punish you for your mistakes, and they certainly did that tonight. We went deeper into the game tonight before we changed the way we play. And you have to remember, this is something that we've struggled with as a team. It's something that certainly with the coaching staff we've been struggled with at times throughout the season, is we play the right way. We're in firm control of a hockey game, and then you see a couple individuals shut off. And it's important for me to reiterate that it's not the entire team shutting off, but when a couple guys shut off and start doing the wrong things and it gets punished, heads drop. And unfortunately, that's going to be a big part of what the season's remembered for. I think that personally we've handed away a number of the games that we've lost, and that's a tough things to say for a coach, because I know that we're capable. People see that we're capable of playing the right way. For some reason, some guys decide to switch off, and it's costly. But it's crunch time now. And as the players were told in between the second and third, you're either in or out. You have to play the right way from here on out, or you're going to possibly look at not making the playoffs, and that would be a very sad thing to happen for not only the guys in the club, but for this organization.
It is interesting. I mean, we have, like you say, we have spoken on a number of occasions where teams been up, then they're kind of shut off, and you've been looking at a loss. Whereas tonight, not everybody shut off. The heads didn't go down, and we saw the difference, and we saw a team that does want to make it to the playoffs this season.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that everybody is well aware of the positions we've been in our league, and we've been right at the top, and we've kind of consistently just kind of dropped off. It would be easy for me. I watch a lot of the interviews in the league. It would be very easy for me to come in and say, oh yeah, we're missing key players. We are, but that's not the reason why we're losing hockey games. And the reasons why we have lost a lot of our hockey games is the reasons I laid out in my little rant there a few seconds ago. It's important to recognize that playing the wrong way in this league can be very costly. And hockey's a psychological game for a lot of players. You can go out there, work your ass off all night, and somebody decides that they're going to try and skate through an entire team, or do something silly in the neutral zone or the offensive zone, turn over the puck, and next thing you know, on a play that shouldn't even have happened, it ends up in the back of your net. And there was 2 instances tonight that happened. One time we don't get a puck deep, half-ass dump across ice, gets picked off in the high slot, they come back, that guy beats the guy who didn't dump the puck deep, and that guy puts it in the back of the net. That's a silly mistake. We're in the middle of a hockey game, and guys know when they make those mistakes. They do. Guys know.
Can't underestimate the performance of both netminders as well, who kept both teams in the game.
two very solid netminders. The quality of netminder in this league is very good. All teams really have goaltenders that are capable of winning them hockey games. We know what we have at the back end in Shane, and we know that we've relied on him heavily at times. And I think it's a fair assessment to say that some of the reason that Dundee's won their hockey games is their goalie as well.
Evan blued off with a couple of goals tonight and a man of the match. Carlo Funici with a short-handed goal. Rick Pinkston tonight with a goal as well. And in Pinkston, you've got a guy who's gone from being, I guess, vilified by the crowd to becoming a bit of a crowd favourite now.
Yeah, I feel sorry. It seems every year, and it goes back to my playing days, that somebody gets instantly picked out early on. He's not liked by the crowd, and every time he makes a mistake on the ice, it's blown out of proportion. Rick Pinkston is a pro. He demands the best out of guys, and he's a good hockey player. Our woes certainly do not rest on the shoulders of Rick Pinkston. And the guy comes out and competes hard. And you got to remember, as it stands right now, he's really leading the charge in front of a depleted D-core. Young Craig Moore has been thrust right up the lineup and is eating up huge minutes. And you got to remember, he's learning his trade and he's learning to play in new situations. He finds himself on the kill. He finds himself on the power play. It's great for his development. But it's like we've had in the past with our Brits. You're thrust into these roles and you sink or swim. Some of our guys over the years have definitely swum, and we know that, and some guys have sunk and went away. We're counting on Craig to be a big part of this organization moving forward, and this is good for his development.
Coventry tomorrow night, and a chance to make amends for last weekend?
Yeah, well, I really think that we viewed all week, this entire weekend, as being a chance to make amends for both hockey games. In Coventry, we got up against an early lead, and we allowed them to fight back into the hockey game, and ultimately, the deeper it went into the game, we fell away. I think that we got to go down to Coventry, a tough building to go into, and be prepared to compete like we did for good portions of the game tonight. And just, I think after the 8-minute mark, we completely capitulated to Dundee and allowed them to walk all over us, and we definitely allowed our heads to drop. Whereas tonight, with the exception of about 8 minutes, we played a pretty solid hockey game.
You've got Belfast midweek in the TV game. You've got Milton Keynes, who are refusing to sit down and let teams walk all over them on Friday. It's a busy week.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I had the opportunity to spend some time with the Belfast boys when I played with Stephen Murphy's testimonial at the start of the week. I have to say, it's a hard-working group of guys. They're up at the top of the league for a reason, and now that they've had probably the better of the weekend between the two top teams, they're going to come into this building and they're going to certainly have one eye on the prize. So we have to be prepared for that hockey game. There's just no doubt about it, because they're playing at the top of their game right now. And anybody who thinks that this is even comparable to the league that it was even a couple of years ago, Milton Keynes are currently in last place, but you're absolutely right. They're still winning hockey games. They're still competing in all the games, and they're more than capable of beating most, if not all, teams in this league.
Arson Crowder and Wands, how are their injuries progressing? How soon do you think we'll see them back?
Injury problems have certainly plagued us over the years, and I think it comes down to the amount of games that we play now. We've carried an extra guy for the majority of the season, and we rarely put out a full lineup out there. Scott Arson's making good progress. He started skating the team. Next week he's going to start taking some light contact, and that's a good progression to make. Paul Crowder is slowly responding. He's certainly gotten better on his testing, and we're quite optimistic of having Paul back into the lineup as soon as he feels right and ready to go. That'll be a big addition to our middle three and really free up some of the minutes that Kaz and Joey Bass and even Chase are eating up. Evan Stofflet hasn't been faring so well. He since whatever you want to call it, the incident. The most important part is your player safety. You're worried about a player when he's clearly not right, and he just needs our continued support from the team and make sure that we get him in a position that if he's capable of coming back this season, then he will. And Chris Wands had an injection last week that is supposed to be a positive step in towards him coming back. I discussed with him tonight, and he's currently hopeful that he may be able to start putting his equipment on next week and skate. So if all goes well, we may see him out there shortly as well.
The Bay Hotel, where your dream wedding becomes reality. Visit us at thebayhotel.net.